This morning, new developments following the ambush of two National Guard members. What we're learning about the suspect.
You can't rely on your eyes and ears anymore.
Plus, scammers love Black Friday just as much as you do. The online shopping scam to watch out for.
And we are tracking alert day conditions starting as early as tonight, lasting through Sunday morning. Dangerous travel expected with our next big winter storm.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks for tuning in to News 3 Now this morning. On the day after Thanksgiving 2025, I'm Chris Stanford. We have a serious snowstorm to talk about. Savannah, we haven't seen something like this, or at least the way that it's shaping up right now, for perhaps a couple of years at least.
Yeah, at least a couple of years. I remember when I came in for my interview, we didn't have great weather conditions. We had two back-to-back events. That was January of 2024, and then we had really cold temperatures that followed, so everything that went untreated froze over. We could see similar conditions to that, and maybe even higher snowfall total amounts in the forecast. Every single county, we had the blue yesterday. That was a winter storm watch. The National Weather Service offices in Milwaukee and La Crosse upgraded all of us to a winter storm warning. The majority of Illinois, or at least a good chunk of it, and every single county in Iowa shaded pink or even a couple shaded purple. That's a winter weather advisory. So a lot of the Midwest going to see serious impacts with this next impactful system. Everyone is shaded pink. That's the winter weather or winter storm warning. That will go into effect at 3 a.m. Saturday and last until 6 a.m. Sunday. Travel not recommended at all Saturday. Even if you have to go get groceries at Walmart or Target, Woodman's, Aldi, head out today. If you are traveling across the Midwest back to southern Wisconsin, I would say today's your best bet. If you can't and have to hold off, don't do so until mid to late afternoon on Sunday, perhaps when the sun's still up though, but when road conditions are cleared. We're expecting windy and low visibilities with this system and high impacts all across southern Wisconsin, moderate or medium impacts with the yellow color, low impacts, thank goodness, for northern Wisconsin. They just had the last winter system and even blizzard conditions in place for those areas, so they're not expecting any snow out of this system. But yeah, we're at least looking at a good 6+ inches widespread snow, and even some areas that could see 10+ inches. We'll talk about who could see those 10+ inches coming up, Chris.
All right, Savannah, thank you. Track the snow yourself, folks, with the free First Warn Weather app. Download it wherever you get your apps. Now to the latest on the attack on two West Virginia National Guard members in Washington, D.C. This morning, one of them, 20-year-old Sarah Beckstrom, is dead from her injuries. The second, Andrew Wolf, continues to fight for his life in the hospital. Late yesterday, firefighters saluting as police escorted the body of Sarah to the medical examiner's office. The FBI says a terrorism investigation is underway on both coasts. Authorities are working to figure out why the suspect drove from Washington State to Washington, D.C. with a loaded handgun.
We will not stop until we interview anyone and everyone associated with the subject, the house, and every piece of his life.
The CIA says the suspected gunman traveled to the U.S. in 2021 after the U.S. troop withdrawal from Afghanistan. He had previously worked with the intelligence agency overseas. A Department of Homeland Security official tells CBS News he was granted asylum earlier this year on humanitarian grounds. The suspect was shot at the scene and remains in a D.C. hospital. The Trump administration says it's now conducting a full-scale, rigorous re-examination of all green cards for every immigrant from what it says are nearly 20 countries of concern, including Afghanistan. And in Hong Kong this morning, the death toll from that horrific apartment complex fire continues to rise, now at least 128. Let's take a live look at that area this morning, where the search for victims continues. And the death toll could rise even more. About 200 are still unaccounted for. Crews prioritizing apartments from where they received more than 24 calls during the fire, but could not reach. The fire, one of the deadliest in Hong Kong's history, believed to have started in bamboo scaffolding and construction netting. Local police say they have arrested 3 men from a construction company on suspicion of manslaughter. 6:04 now to more local news. The Dane County Sheriff's Office is investigating after pulling a body from Lake Monona. Dane County deputies and the Madison Fire Department responding to the lake near North Shore Drive yesterday around 2 o'clock in the afternoon. They pulled a man from the water and pronounced him dead at the scene. They have not yet released his identity. Dane County Sheriff's Office also investigating a deadly crash. It happened yesterday just after 9 o'clock in the morning in the town of Cottage Grove at County Highway N and MN north of I-90. The driver of the car crashed into a semi and died at the scene. Well, as millions hunt for Black Friday bargains online today, scammers are hunting too, using slick social media ads to lure shoppers in. From fake QR codes, gift cards, and phony emails to sketchy social media ads, cybersecurity experts say it's peak season for fraud. And to remember, the social media shopping is not always safe.
You could have fake influencer videos and things like that because it only takes a few seconds to create a deep fake of somebody. And the problem now is that AI has just made them all look perfect.
This girl behind me, she's not real. She's actually...
You can't rely on your eyes and ears anymore.
You can also trace ads back to a reputable retailer. Experts also recommend using a credit card for purchases so you're better protected from fraud, and keeping track of purchases made on your card. Happening tonight in McFarland, a roster of international Irish dance champions will perform a Celtic Christmas. A Taste of Ireland features world champion dancers known from Lord of the Dance and Riverdance. The show is tonight at 7:30 p.m. at the McFarland Performing Arts Center. Tickets start at $40. And whether you know him as the Wolverine or P.T. Barnum, Hugh Jackman will be in Wisconsin next week, serving up some ice cream. The Academy Award-nominated actor will be at Kopp's Frozen Custard in Greenfield, Wisconsin, to promote his new movie, Song Sung Blue, premiering on Christmas Day. Co-starring Kate Hudson, the film is based on a Neil Diamond tribute band from Wisconsin. Don't miss the chance to try the special blueberry custard flavor and be among the first 500 guests to snag a free scoop. The line starts at 1:30 p.m. All right, 6 minutes after 6 here on your Friday morning. We have a serious snowstorm we are tracking this morning. Savannah Brito is here with your First Warn forecast. Hi, Savannah.
Hi, Chris. Thank you. Yeah, alert day conditions start as early as tonight for some and last until Sunday morning. Avoid traveling if you can on Saturday. That is not going to be recommended, even to go out to get groceries. Saturday is not going to be good. Quickly deteriorating road conditions are expected. Sudden drops in visibilities, breezy conditions, and obviously a lot of snow that we're all going to get. Serious travel impacts are expected and 6 to 9+ inches likely for pretty much everyone across south central Wisconsin. Everyone across southern Wisconsin's included in the winter storm warning, so everyone got upgraded to a winter storm warning. That starts at 3 a.m. tomorrow. We'll talk about how long snow could linger into Sunday morning and who could see the highest snowfall amounts.
Sounds good. Coming up in your morning sports, Packers expert Jason Wilde breaks down that win over the Lions yesterday. And the deepest rivalry in college football is on the field this weekend. Why this year there is some extra pressure.
You're watching News 3 Now this morning. Moving forward.
Well, happy Black Friday, everyone. If you're headed out shopping early this morning, this afternoon, or even early evening, we're not going to have any issues. Cold temperatures, little breezy, but the winter storm warning, and when we're tracking alert day conditions, that's not going to be until late tonight, and that'll last until early Sunday. Specifically, every single county in southern Wisconsin was upgraded from the watch to a winter storm warning now. That will start at 3 in the morning Saturday and last until 6 in the morning on Sunday. And a good chunk of the Midwest expecting high impacts. That's the stretch of red. A lot of Michigan, northern Indiana, northern and central Illinois, southern Wisconsin, a lot of Iowa and southern Minnesota Friday night to Sunday. Windy, low visibility. Those are going to quickly drop as the heaviest snow comes down. Our rates could be up to 1 inch per hour, and lake enhancement still possible. Definitely going to see 6 inches. That's going to be widespread for a lot of southern Wisconsin, and some spots that could even top out around 1 foot of snow. Light snow is going to start to move in southwest areas midnight to 6 in the morning Saturday. The window for greatest impacts that starts at 6 a.m. and is going to stretch all the the way until midnight or a little bit later than that Sunday. The snowfall rates increase 6 a.m. to noon tomorrow. And this period where I was talking about that our snowfall rates could be up to an inch per hour, that's noon Saturday to midnight Sunday. And that's when lake enhancement is still a factor that we're watching closely. That's possible. Snowfall rates are going to decrease. Light snow is going to continue, though, after that, even until 6 p.m. Sunday. But we're not really going to see high accumulations after that point. I would say noon to 6 p.m. on Sunday. As far as the latest snowfall map goes, Prairie du Chien, Mineral Point, this dark blue, including Lone Rock, Madison, Janesville, Watertown, Waukesha towards the lake, including Milwaukee and Kenosha. At least 6 to 10 plus inches, and there very well could be localized areas that see 12 to even 14 inches within that blue. The areas of significant travel impacts and the heaviest totals near Platteville, Monroe into northern Illinois, and then eastern parts of Iowa. That's where 10 plus inches of snow very, very likely. Widespread 6 inches for Viroqua, La Crosse, the Dells, Juneau, Fond du Lac. And then there's still going to be some impacts north towards Black River Falls and Wautoma, but only 3 to 6 inches is going to fall there. That's still enough to drive some travel impacts with it being a busy holiday weekend. So again, avoid traveling Saturday if you can. Friday, today is the good day to travel. Otherwise, probably going to want to wait until mid-afternoon about on Sunday. This is 9:30, a lot of cloud cover. Temperatures are going to be in the mid to upper 20s, couple lower 20s, but that snow starts to move in for Iowa at that point in time and will fall heavy if you are there and planning on traveling back to southern Wisconsin. Want to do that ahead of time earlier today. This is now 2:30 in the morning. That snow overtaking southwestern Dane County, areas like Platteville, Prairie du Chien, Boscobel, and Mineral Point. The later into Saturday we get, pretty much everyone's going to see moderate snow to heavy snowfall, especially you can see these darker shades of blue for Madison, Monroe, Janesville, Mineral Point, near Prairie du Chien. This is when we could see those rates that are an inch per hour and lake enhancement that's possible. So this is going to be pretty heavy and wet snow. That continues through the entire day Saturday. You see blue all this period of time and not breaking up until we get into Sunday morning. This is about 6 to 7 a.m. Still expecting some snow to fall, but we're not going to see as heavy of rates nor as widespread those areas that see 6 to even 10 inches into Sunday. At that point, little to no accumulation is expected, especially once we get after that about 2 to 3 p.m. time frame on Sunday afternoon. But yeah, definitely going to see a lot of impacts. Air and ground travel both going to be affected. The uncertainties that still remain, that final storm track and where that 9+ band of snow is going to set up. That's still very, very likely for areas across southern Wisconsin. I think those areas that we shaded purple, so southwest of Madison towards Platteville, that's who has the greatest chance expanding into the Rockford areas, Chicagoland areas, and that's where I'm headed after the show today. So I'm not planning on traveling at all Saturday. I do have a dentist appointment, probably going to get canceled, but I don't plan on traveling back up here until Sunday later in the day.
Boy, it's just hard to time out travel. I mean,
yeah.
with a system this wide, depending on where you're going, talking about these totals though, 6 to 10 inches. I mean, 6 inches is on the low end. You think,
right.
You know, Dane County, most of Dane County is going to see at least 6 inches tomorrow into Sunday.
For sure. And some of us across Dane County in that stretch of blue, like Lone Rock and then towards Waukesha, could even see up to a foot of snow.
Yeah, I just think this is really notable because you are speaking with such confidence. The First World Weather Team has such confidence in this system producing such a large amount of snow. I mean, this isn't, you know, hype by any means.
Right.
You know, certified accurate, most accurate 5 years in a row for a reason. I mean, so I think that this just speaks to how intense the storm could get over the next couple of days.
Exactly. The biggest thing is going to be the travel impacts, and I think with it being that Thanksgiving weekend and the weather headlines that,
is awful.
Yeah, even National Weather Service meteorologists put in that bulletin, the pink color, the winter storm warning, like at least 10 inches for a lot of the area.
Yeah.
So
I mean, even though the snow is going to stop, maybe Sunday morning, that doesn't. I mean, they're not going to clear this out of here. There's so much snow to clear. It's going to take them quite a long time to get this out. So travel on Sunday isn't going to be a walk in the park.
No, and then the bitter cold to follow. Anything that goes untreated is going to freeze over pretty quickly.
Yeah, single-digit lows.
Yeah, it's going to get cold out there.
All right, Savannah, thank you.
You're welcome.
Good morning, Madison. Now, wow, you guys were stirring your pots yesterday. The Packers were back in Detroit for their second matchup with the Lions this season, and let me tell you, they were cooking with hot grease too. With only a field goal made in the first half, Jay Love loads up in the pocket and sends one deep that falls into the hands of Dontavian Wicks for the first touchdown in the game, but the Lions pulled up a seat at the table as David Montgomery runs one in to dish out 6 for the Lions, but it would be all Green Bay from there. After that, into the third, Love in the pocket again. And man, you would have thought he was whipping up some mac and cheese as he served a 51-yard platter to Christian Watson for the touchdown. The Packers go on to win this one 31-24 and earn some Tedurkey and sweep the Lions for the first time since 2020. For more on this Packers win, here's Jason Wilde.
Good morning, everybody from Green Bay. The Packers players have today, Saturday, and Sunday off in the aftermath of their 31-24 Thanksgiving Day victory over the Detroit Lions yesterday. And by the time today is over, the Packers could be in first place in the NFC North. That would require the Philadelphia Eagles to beat the current first-place team, the Chicago Bears, and drop their record to 8-4. But whether that happens or not, Matt LaFleur's message to his team was clear. There's no time for complacency or thinking you've arrived.
I mean, I think every game is a new challenge, and I just never want to feel like, okay, here we are. We've got to figure it out, because you got to put the work in. And there's a lot of talented defenses in this league, and there's a lot of challenges. There's a lot of smart coaches that are going to scheme up stuff against you. And so we're going to continue to just try to get a little bit better each and every day, the same mindset that we've always had. That's the only way I know how to approach it.
The Packers will take an 8-3-1 record into their matchup with the Bears next Sunday at Lambeau Field. And we'll have full coverage of everything Packers leading into the game and of the game itself on our website, channel3000.com. And while you're there, make sure you sign up for the Packers newsletter, which delivers that coverage directly to your inbox every single day. In Green Bay, Jason Wilde, channel3000.com.
Thanks, Jason. And that's right. A Bears loss today would put the Packers in first place in the division. They take on the Eagles this afternoon. The Bears are red hot right now, having won 8 of their last 9 games. Their quarterback, Caleb Williams, too, rarely turns the ball over. Kickoff in Philadelphia is at 2 o'clock. You can watch it on Amazon Prime. Badger men's basketball taking on Providence in the Rady Children's Invitational Tournament in San Diego. Leading in the first half, Austin Rapp there, knocking down the 3 to keep the Badgers in the lead. Then the man of the night, Nick Boyd, adds 3 to his 18, finishing with 36 points. And in the family spirit to close this one out, coach's son, Isaac Gard, with his second 3 of the night. Badgers go on to win 104-83 and move on to take on TCU. That's a 4:30 p.m. tip-off tomorrow. Badger women's basketball in Mississippi this afternoon. They'll play the 13th-ranked Rebels from Ole Miss. Badgers are 6-1. Ole Miss is 5-0. Tip-off at 3 o'clock. Bucks in New York City tonight against the Knicks. Tip-off is at 6:30. And then on Saturday, don't forget, they'll play the Nets at 7 p.m. on our sister station, Television Wisconsin. As for Giannis, the Milwaukee Bucks said on X it's still questionable whether he'll be on the court tonight. And this weekend, Badger football going north for the battle for the Axe. Minnesota, Wisconsin, for the 135th time. It's the deepest rivalry in college football, now deadlocked at 63, 63, and 8. Kickoff is at 2:30. 6:20, still ahead, a pre-Thanksgiving beach day in Minnesota and some creative ways to use your Thanksgiving leftovers. All right, welcome back. You know, creators on TikTok are getting creative with what to do with all the leftover Thanksgiving food. If you watched Friends, the hit NBC show, you know Ross Geller, what he does with his sandwich. You take the middle layer of gravy-soaked bread and then put everything else in between. For those with a sweet tooth, here's something to do with the pumpkin pie. You can blend it with ice cream and milk. And if you've got mashed potatoes left over, TikTokers have tried to fry them to make a crispy golden snack. And if you've got leftover turkey, you could put it in a quesadilla.
That sounds all really good.
There you go. You can put your sweet potatoes in some brownie batter. How about that?
I don't know about that.
No, sweet potatoes and the brownies?
I think I missed that when you said it last hour.
Not your mashed potatoes, your sweet potatoes.
I'm just not a sweet potato person. Love brownies, but
No.
I guess it could be a good combination.
I know, you put it
Maybe.
in some ice cream and Savannah will probably eat it.
Yep, there you go. Anything ice cream.
Well, check this out on the day before Thanksgiving. Look what they're doing up in Duluth. They are surfing. Look at that. A handful of surfers seen all around Brighton Beach and Lake Superior wearing
snow.
wetsuits. And they're riding the waves in extremely cold temperatures.
Yeah.
With a nice little backdrop of some snow there. One surfer says that she's been doing it for 4 winters now, and the feeling is still exhilarating. Exhilarating, that's one way to put it.
Yeah, really, really cold's another way to put it.
Numb,
I
yeah.
think it'd be cool, but I don't know if I could do it. If it went to a great cause,
There
for
you go.
sure.
Yeah. Kind of like a polar plunge here in Wisconsin.
Yes,
But
exactly.
There you go.
I remember us running this story last year, and Kyrion's like, what?
Crazy.
I know.
What are they thinking?
I mean, I've always wanted to surf, but I don't know. And I don't even want to know how cold the lake is up there. Because, yeah, they just had a blizzard. We're talking about a winter storm here. Those details are coming up. So stay with us.
This morning, new information about the horrific Hong Kong apartment fire and the number of people still unaccounted for. And Thanksgiving leftovers. How long should you store them in the fridge and the freezer? After the Packers took care of business against the Lions, we'll have their updated odds of making the playoffs.
And we have alert day conditions that'll go in place tonight for some, lasting until Sunday morning. We'll talk about who has the best chance of seeing up to a foot or more of snow.
All right, good morning, everyone. The Friday after Thanksgiving, and we have a massive winter storm to talk about. Snow totals, nothing to mess around with here. Let's check in with Savannah Brito, find out what we can expect this morning and headed into the next 48 hours, which are going to be, quite frankly, rather dangerous.
Yes, absolutely dangerous. Travel is not recommended by any means tomorrow. So if you're planning on getting back to southern Wisconsin or to have to go out shopping, whether that be for groceries or any Christmas shopping, do so today. Otherwise, to get home to southern Wisconsin, you're going to want to wait until later in the day Sunday. I'd say mid-afternoon. We're expecting high impacts, travel, a really, really good snow, very impactful for a lot of the Midwest. We've got a winter storm warning in place for all of southern Wisconsin. That's going to go into effect at 3 a.m. Saturday, last until 6 a.m. Sunday. We're expecting windy conditions, low visibilities, and snow widespread 6+ inches for pretty much everyone guaranteed across southern Wisconsin. And some areas could see even up to a foot, if not maybe 2 inches more than that of snow. Very, very big system, and it's coming our way. We are going to see those alert day conditions tonight and again last until Sunday morning. We'll talk about when the best times to travel is, and also again who could see up to a foot of snow. I'll have that coming up a little later in Maine Weather.
Sounds good, Savannah. Thank you. Folks, you can track the snow yourself with the free First Warn Weather app. Download it wherever you get your apps. In Hong Kong, the death toll from that horrific apartment complex fire continues to rise, now at least 128. You're taking a live look at those apartments this morning. The search for victims ongoing. The death toll could rise even more. About 200 are still unaccounted for. 5,000 people lived in the 8-tower block. Crews prioritized apartments from where they received more than 24 calls during the fire, but could not reach. Efforts in extinguishing the fire have wrapped up. The cause unknown this morning. The investigation could take weeks. There was, however, word that fire alarm systems in at least some of the buildings may not have been functioning properly. Meanwhile, families agonizing, looking for the remains of their loved ones.
Some angles here, maybe ridiculous.
Officials say bamboo scaffolding wrapping around the building helped the fire spread. The building was under renovation. That's now being investigated by Hong Kong's anti-corruption agency. 3 men at the construction company have been arrested under the suspicion of manslaughter. Now to the latest on the attack on 2 West Virginia National Guard members in Washington, D.C. This morning, one of them, 20-year-old Sarah Beckstrom, is dead from her injuries. The second, Andrew Wolf, continues to fight for his life in the hospital. Late yesterday, firefighters saluting as police escorted the body of Sarah to the medical examiner's office. The FBI says a terrorism investigation is underway on both coasts That's as authorities try to figure out why the suspect drove from Washington State to Washington, D.C. with a loaded handgun.
We will not stop until we interview anyone and everyone associated with the subject, the house, and every piece of his life.
The CIA says the suspected gunman traveled to the U.S. in 2021 after the U.S. troop withdrawal from Afghanistan. He'd previously worked with the intelligence agency overseas. DHS says he was granted asylum for humanitarian reasons. The suspect shot at the scene and remains in the hospital this morning. The Trump administration says it's now conducting a full-scale, rigorous re-examination of all green cards for every immigrant from what it says are nearly 20 countries of concern, including Afghanistan. 6:34 now. Tariffs and inflation are adding some complexity to this Black Friday. Experts suggest planning a budget before hitting the stores or internet. National Retail Federation forecasts nearly 187 million people will shop online or in stores between Thanksgiving and Cyber Monday. That is fewer than the near record number reported in 2024. To help you budget, some experts recommend what's called the 1% rule.
Take 1% of your annual income and make that the ceiling, so the upper bound for the entire season. If you make $70K, that's $700 for everything. So for gifts, travel, food, hosting.
She suggests starting with that total and then making a list instead of the other way around. Plus, limit the amount of transactions to avoid micro-spending too much. Well, in some local news this morning, get ready for the holiday spirit. Tomorrow, the Wisconsin Chamber Orchestra will present 2 performances of A Charlie Brown Christmas with Strings. Here's a sneak peek. The orchestra is going to be joined by Madison piano trio Mr. Chair and members of the Madison Youth Choirs. Shows are at 3 and 7:30 p.m. at the Orpheum. Tickets range from $25 to $65, available on WCO's website. And this evening, join the Beloit community for the Grand Lighted Holiday Parade downtown. The festivities kick off at 5 p.m. with live music. And then Santa will get there, and they'll light the tree at 6. There's also a fireworks show and parade that starts at 6:15. Streets along the parade route are going to be closed, so you want to plan some alternate routes and parking. Enhanced security measures will be in place for safety. Well, today for Christmas shopping and leftovers, but experts warn that without proper storage, you could run the risk of getting sick. That starts with getting leftovers into the fridge and in small airtight containers within 2 hours. Leftovers can be kept in the fridge for 3 to 4 days, so that means you have until the Monday after Thanksgiving to eat them, toss them, or freeze them. If you do freeze them, they can last for up to 3 months.
We leave it out on the counter and that temperature drops below a threshold where bacteria can start to not only grow, but produce toxins in the food. And then as we store that food away, if we don't store it either efficiently and quickly enough, or we store it too long and reheat it, not at an appropriate temperature, those bacteria can make us sick.
You can reheat leftovers in the microwave or oven, but the USDA says if you use the microwave, check the temperature of the food in several places. Well, the Packers get some extra time to rest up for their next matchup. They earned it after taking down the Lions yesterday afternoon. Yesterday at Ford Field, Green Bay up 3-0. Love drops back and flings one to Dontavian Wicks, who hauls it in for the touchdown. The first of the game, 10-0 Packers. Love would toss 4 touchdowns on the day and no interception. Lions, though, would answer. David Montgomery wants one in here. The point after would be good to cut the Green Bay lead to 3. Third quarter now, Packers up 17-14, and fans love the long ball. Packers fans loving this as Christian Watson hauls it in for the 51-yard score. Green Bay goes on to win 31-24. Kudos to the O-line that didn't give up a single sack on the day. Can't say the same about the Detroit Lions, though. Micah Parsons had 2.5 sacks on the day. All right, let's see how the division looks this morning. Bears still at the top. Packers may be in second place, but they now have a 92% chance to make the playoffs. The Packers have the Bears next Sunday, the 7th, and again on the 20th. And those Bears do play today. A Bears loss would put the Packers in first place in the division. They take on the Eagles. The Bears have a red-hot offense going right now. They have won 8 of their last 9 games, and their quarterback, Caleb Williams, rarely turns the ball over. Kickoff in Philadelphia is at 2 o'clock this afternoon. You can watch it on Amazon Prime. And the Badgers, men's basketball in action, going toe-to-toe with Providence, the Rady Children's Invitational in San Diego, leading in the first half. Austin Rapp there knocks down the triple to keep the Badgers in the lead. And then the man of the night, Nick Boyd, adds 3 to his 18, finishing with 36 points. And in the family spirit to close this one out, coach's son Isaac Gard with his second 3 of the night. Badgers go on to win 104-83, moving on to take on TCU at 4:30 tomorrow. Badger women's basketball in action in Mississippi this afternoon. They play the 13th ranked Rebels of Old Miss. Badgers are 6-1. Old Miss is 5-0. Tip-off is at 3 o'clock. Bucks in New York City tonight against the Knicks. Tip-off is at 6:30. And then on Saturday, they play the Nets at 7 p.m. on our sister station, Television Wisconsin. As for Giannis, he has been nursing that injury. The Bucks said on X that it's questionable whether he'll be on the court tonight. And a big game for the Badger football squad tomorrow. They're going north for the Battle for the Axe with the Golden Gophers for the 135th time. It's the deepest rivalry in college football. Kickoff is at 2:30. We've been talking about this massive snowstorm, Savannah. Even places as far north as Minneapolis are going to be impacted. They're actually going to see less snow in the forecast than what we're going to get here.
Exactly. They saw a big snow system a couple days ago. They had a winter storm warning up there. We have that for tomorrow down here. So I do think we'll see bigger impacts here. But yeah, the big story is the impactful system for not only southern Wisconsin, but several other states too. We have most of Iowa under some kind of winter storm alert, and actually most of the state is shaded pink, which is what southern Wisconsin's going to see, the winter storm warning. A good chunk of Illinois and southern Minnesota that's also included in the winter storm watch. The timing late Friday night into early Sunday, that's when we're expecting alert day conditions. Impacts, widespread snow, 6+ inches for much of the Midwest. Breezy conditions, quickly deteriorating road conditions, especially with low visibilities. I think both ground and air travel is going to be affected. The uncertainty is still the final storm track and 9 inches plus band possibly setting up and maybe even expanding further north to include a lot of the area. We'll talk about who could see up to a foot of snow across southern Wisconsin.
All right, serious stuff.
Yes.
Thank you, Savannah. Coming up after the break, decoding the price tag, the secret language to shopping that could save you some money.
You're watching News 3 Now this morning. Moving forward.
Well, good Friday morning, everyone. We're not going to see any impacts if you're headed out early this morning, afternoon, or even early evening for shopping on this Black Friday, but we are going to see alert day conditions in place Friday night for some, mainly southwest of Madison. That'll last until Sunday morning. Travel not recommended at all, even for grocery shopping at all on Saturday. I would say either today or if you can hold off if you're having to travel back to southern Wisconsin until Saturday or Sunday mid-afternoon. That'd be the best time to travel. Everyone across Wisconsin, including much of the upper Midwest, we're expecting 6 to 9 inches of snow likely, and serious travel impacts this is going to make for dangerous travel. The updates since yesterday, we saw winter storm watch get put in place. Now everyone across southern Wisconsin, a good chunk of Iowa, a good chunk of Illinois, and southern Minnesota included in a winter storm warning. For us specifically, that includes every county across Madison's coverage area. That starts at 3 in the morning Saturday and will run until 6 a.m. Sunday. Upstate towards just south of the Rhinelander area near Eau Claire, Minneapolis, a winter weather advisory. We're expecting high impacts across southern Wisconsin and basically every area that's included in that pink, the winter storm warning. That's where the highest travel impacts are going to be. We're expecting windy conditions, low visibilities, and like I mentioned, 6+ inches. That's guaranteed, and some of us could even see up to a foot or very close to that of snow. The light snow is going to move in southwest of the area 12 a.m. to 6 a.m. Saturday. The best chance for travel impacts, that's guaranteed starting as early as about 6 a.m. lasting till 12 a.m. Sunday. Our snowfall rates are going to increase from 12 a.m. to lunchtime on Saturday, and then 12 p.m. noon Saturday to 12 a.m. Sunday. That's when we could see snowfall rates up to 1 inch, if not a little bit higher than that. per hour, and lake enhancement is something that we're still watching. That's potentially going to happen or possible across southern Wisconsin. Once we reach midnight Sunday into 6 p.m. Sunday, we're still going to see snow, little bit of an additional accumulation, but those rates are going to significantly decrease, but light snow is going to continue. Still expecting travel impacts because we're expecting an all-day event Saturday, so the crews are going to work and try to keep up with that snow, but we are expecting a lot of snow to fall, so I still think we'll have impacts into potentially as late as the afternoon on Sunday. Madison, Janesville, Watertown, Waukesha, Mineral Point, Prairie du Chien, Lone Rock expecting 6 to 10 plus inches of snow. The 6 inches absolutely guaranteed. Widespread 6 inches for Juneau, Wisconsin, Dells, Viroqua, La Crosse. 3 to 6 inches for Black River Falls, Watoma, and northward. That's still enough to have serious travel impacts, especially with it being the weekend after Thanksgiving. Monroe, Platteville into Iowa, northern Illinois, guaranteed 10 plus inches of snow. This is going to be a big system, very impactful, especially when you're talking about travel. So again, morning, afternoon, early evening look good if you have to get out and about, but starting as early as about 10, some light snow starts to move in. That'll increase in coverage the later into Saturday morning we get, and then most of the day Saturday we're expecting moderate to heavy snowfall and rates again that could be up to an inch, maybe as high as 1.5 inches per hour. It'll be all day Saturday and then even into Sunday early morning. It's not until about 6 to 7, this is an image at what 7 a.m. could look like on Future Check, that we finally start to see those snowflakes start to break up a little bit, and it won't be as heavy. But yeah, alert day in place all day long tomorrow into early Sunday, and then anything that goes untreated, look at how cold our temperatures are going to get. I think could freeze over. So Chris, Sunday night, Monday night will be in the single digits, and daytime highs only get into the teens to mid-20s at best the next couple of days after this system.
It's going to be a race to treat those roads and get that snow cleared off before the temp drops too much where the stuff is just not effective.
Yes, so be mindful, make sure you're looking before you step out on parking lots or sidewalks right outside your house or apartment.
All right, Savannah, thank you. Well, if you're headed out for Black Friday, you're likely expecting great bargains, but if you can decipher codes on the price tags, you could save even more. CBS's Christine Lazar explains.
When you walk the aisles of discount retailers like Costco, TJ Maxx, and Nordstrom Rack, you expect to get a deal, but not all deals are created equal. We tagged along with consumer savings expert Andrea Warrock.
You might find some stuff
to crack the code on when a deal shouldn't be passed up. We started at Costco.
You can tell a lot about Costco pricing by looking at the last 2 digits. So 99 cents refers to full price items. There's no deal. However, 97 cents is a manager markdown. It's a limited time deal.
And the asterisk means after it's gone, the item isn't coming back anytime soon. A product that ends in 79 is a discount set by the manufacturer.
What about when I see 49 and 89?
Those are limited time manager special discounts. These are on seasonal items, so they also will not be restocked. You might not be ready to buy your gift wrap or holiday items just yet, but grab it because chances are they will sell out.
Oh, wow, that's a good deal.
And make sure to keep an eye out for tags that list an additional discount.
Those are manufacturer instant rebates, so that's a discount taken off right at register. Oftentimes a big savings.
At TJ Maxx, it can feel a little more like a treasure hunt.
Okay, so here's a name brand, Ed Hardy. But what can we tell about the tag?
So the price tag is going to tell you a lot. If you look at the last digit, the number 2 indicates that this is the actual brand item.
Meaning you're likely getting a big discount on that name brand. But if the tag has the number 1 at the end, that means the product was specifically made for TJ Maxx, meaning it didn't come from a big box retailer and may not be as good of a deal. A 6 at the end signifies it's a clothing set. If it's missing an item, you can always ask for a discount. And if it ends in a 7,
this means this has been discontinued. You cannot buy it anywhere else. Chances are there really isn't that much inventory left. So this is going to be a great deal.
And our last stop, Nordstrom Rack.
To find the real deals, you want to find the Nordstrom tag. So this is an original from the store. So you know it was not made for Nordstrom Rack.
And if the tag says Nordstrom Rack, that means it was made specifically for the rack.
Christine Lazar, CBS News, Los Angeles.
6:50 coming up in the morning. Sprint, Pope Leo on his first international trip as Pope, where he's visiting. And we want to wish a happy birthday to Lily. Hope you have a wonderful day. We're back with the Sprint next. 6:54 time for the morning sprint. Sarah Beckstrom, one of the two West Virginia National Guard members that was shot while patrolling the nation's capital on Thanksgiving Eve, has died from her injuries. The second victim, Andrew Wolf, is in critical condition. President Trump said the Guardsman is fighting for his life. The suspect is believed to have acted alone in the Wednesday attack. Officials say the Afghan national entered the U.S. in 2021. In Hong Kong, the death toll continues to rise as the search for survivors continues after one of the deadliest fires in the city's modern history. And just into the newsroom, 8 people arrested in connection to the renovation at those apartment towers. It was believed to have started in bamboo scaffolding and construction netting. It then spread from tower to tower. Pope Leo XIV in Turkey on his first overseas trip as Pope. He met the nation's president and other dignitaries. While in Turkey, Pope Leo is marking the 1700th anniversary of Christianity's first ecumenical council. He is also traveling to Lebanon. Today, one of the biggest shopping days of the year, Adobe Analytics expects Americans will spend nearly $44 billion this week through Cyber Monday alone. That's a more than 6% jump over last year. Buy now, pay later options are also expected to be a big driver for online sales. That number is expected to cross the $1 billion threshold on Cyber Monday. Packers taking care of the Detroit Lions on Thanksgiving. Green Bay sweeps Detroit in both games they played this season. Final score yesterday, 31-24. In their division, Bears still at the top. Packers maybe in second place, but they now have a 92% chance of making the playoffs. The Packers have the Bears next Sunday, the 7th. And again, on the 20th, Bears play the Eagles this afternoon. This weekend, Badger football going to Minnesota for their Battle for the Axe. It's the 135th meeting between the schools. Kickoff is at 2:30.
We are still in the making for a significant snowstorm. Light snow is going to move in starting as early as midnight tonight, maybe a little earlier than that. So if you're headed out Black Friday shopping this morning, afternoon, or early evening should be fine. The greatest impacts and when travel is not recommended starts tomorrow morning and lasts until about 12 a.m. Sunday, maybe even a little bit after that. So if you can stay home, definitely do that.
All right. Thank you, Savannah. CBS Mornings is next.